Welcome to Dime Comic Bros podcast. Tonight we do not have Spencer amongst our ranks. He drove across the country with the story that he was going to see his girlfriend, but it was kind of those weird stories that don't really line up. It's like, you know, when you're a kid
sketchy.
and he's like, I've got a girlfriend, but she goes to a different school. Here's a picture, and it kind of looks like the picture that came in the wallet. So take that for what it is. He drove home late last night and didn't want to talk into a microphone with us. So tonight it is just me, Jacob, and Colin. Hello, Colin.
Hey,
Thank you for coming in today.
thank you for having me.
So, because Daddy isn't here to run the episode, I suggest maximum chaos.
Just have step bros right now.
So, with that being said, let's go into our main topic. A little bit out of order.
Ooh,
this
I
week.
like this. I like this.
So, Colin and I just watched Deathstroke's Knights and Dragons.
That's that's it.
It was released on August 4th of this year, 2020.
So it wasn't that long ago at all.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
So it is a story about Deathstroke.
Train wreck.
Yeah. I was gonna say that I laughed and I cried, all because it's such a terrible movie. This is
so bad.
probably my least favorite DC animated movie so far. And after a quick Google search, I have the approximate number that they have spat out 39 of those animated movies,
Oh.
with more to come this year. So that's saying something that it's the worst one.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So some hot takes. What'd you think?
Dude, okay, so like it started out real fast with like action and all this shit. And what bothered me at first was like he just got shot. Like Deathstroke got shot twice.
Right.
Both shoulders. And I'm like, okay, I get this is like hyper realistic, like hyper like just fantasy, and that this isn't real because, you know, it's a cartoon movie, but like there's some grounded reality. And I totally forgot that he has like super healing and stuff. Like how I remember Deathstroke is he didn't have that, so that already set me off.
I did not know pretty much anything about Deathstroke. I've played as him in Injustice, and he was in Batman Arkham Origins.
It's also on Teen Titans.
And I don't think I ever saw that, but he was also in
Really?
Arrow.
You've never seen Teen Titans, the show?
I don't think so.
It was like American anime. It was like
Yeah,
it's like every kid's first anime.
It was on TV when I was a kid, but I didn't have TV as a kid, so yeah.
I barely got to see like any of it. It's on HBO Max now.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's kind of like worth
every
a watch.
week we plug HBO Max.
Yeah, you should probably sponsor us,
You'd
bud.
think we'd have a sponsorship by now, but no.
No, HBO Max.
Back to Deathstroke being shot in each shoulder in pretty much his first shot of the movie.
Yeah.
I have a note here saying that the whole movie works really hard to show Deathstroke as a badass and that
Yeah.
he can just, you know, make like a blender through dudes and
Yeah, like in a
and-
ridiculous way.
But
Literal
it
blender.
also works really hard after the battles to show how damaged he is from every battle. So it's like it's a conflicting idea. Like maybe he's not so good at his job. Maybe he's not a badass. It's very
He's
confusing.
reckless as
Not even. It's like there's crazy impossible kills that he's performing, and then like he's coming home all shredded.
Yeah, like he not in the good way, by the way. But like he in one scene it was like these two guards were looking at each other like they were entering a room because they knew that Deathstroke was there.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say guard A looked at guard B, and guard B like did like a thumbs up type of thing, you know, like whatever. And all you see is like a like blades running through him and blood, like little bits of blood splattering, and then like the next frame is explosion of like his body, like just everywhere. It's like,
Right.
okay,
Right?
sure, yeah, that's how it works.
Another note I have is it doesn't make sense why he wears his armor if all of the bullets that the bad guys shoot at him go through the armor.
Yeah.
Hurt him. Like,
it's not like it dents the armor. It goes like literally like right through like it's cloth.
Looks like Swiss cheese after every battle, and then magically fixed before every other battle.
Yeah. I mean, I get it that's animation, but it's still shit.
Right.
I mean, you're keeping all of his scars on his like his actual body, but not his armor. Are we sure that his armor doesn't have the healing factor and it's not his body?
I would like to say that the movie did not really shirk on the voice acting from first glance. It's got Michael Chiklis, who you may know as Ben Grimm from the 2005 Fantastic Four and the 2007 Rise of the Silver Surfer. He is the Thing.
I don't think I've seen those.
Oh my gosh.
You're old.
He is also Commissioner Barnes in the Fox TV show Gotham.
Oh. Okay, I follow you.
The main bad guy, the Jackal, is voiced by Chris J. Alex, who I did not write a list of what he's been in, but if you look him up, you will realize any kind of video game that he has voiced 100 characters in. So
I like his voice.
All over the place.
He's got a nice voice.
Sasha Alexander, who is from NCIS for the first 2 seasons. She's one of the main 3 or 4 characters.
Doesn't she die?
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. She was shot through the head at the end of season 2, and it was horrifying.
Yeah, that was something. I remember that as a kid. That kind of screwed me up there.
You should not have been watching that as
My
a kid.
My parents let me watch a lot of things as a kid.
The last voice actor that I recognized was Colin Salmon, I'm assuming is how you say it. It's spelled the same. He played the character Walter Wintergreen, which seems way too comic booky for me. But he also played Walter Steele in the CW version of The Arrow.
Okay.
So, some big names for a really shitty animated movie.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for their career. I mean,
I think their career will overlook this pretty quick.
What I meant was like, it's kind of like, it sucks that's in your record.
I was thinking, it seems like they spent the money for the voice actors and
not the animation.
Or
story.
Or writing. Or
just the big names, you know?
Yeah.
The animation, by the way, was like
all over the place.
Yeah, the colors didn't really like match. It just it felt like it didn't work, and like it was kind of meant to be cartoony and like a little simplistic, but there was moments where it's too simple, where the eye was not liking it. My eyes were not liking it at all.
I have a good example to describe this. It would be like if Bethesda released a brand new game this year, still using the game engine that they made Skyrim in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just looks like an old school animated movie when we're not living in those times anymore.
I mean, the old school animation can work, but they just didn't work in this. They didn't do it right.
And it felt like it was a mixture of animations too. Like
it felt like the animation changed in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You noticed that, right?
I didn't see a hard crash, but it definitely felt different at the end of the movie than it did at the beginning. So there were also like there was a kill where blood seemed to like splash onto the camera and it looked janky.
Oh yeah.
There were some I don't know, epileptic eye movements that looked really weird.
Yeah, those sounds be like anime.
Yeah, it just a weird mixture of animations.
Maybe unpopular opinion, but I never liked the blood splatter on camera. Like, you know how like on the lens? I never liked that. I don't
I can take it in some movies, but
it felt like it always took me out of the movie or show.
Yep.
I don't know why.
It depends though. Like if it's a brutal war movie that's trying to place you there next to the guys getting shot.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, like
maybe.
I think 1917 does that a
really?
little bit.
I still haven't seen that one.
Oh, you haven't?
Nope.
We should watch that sometime. That's good. I have it.
It's not comic booky though.
That's true. But animation was pretty it was bad, and it changed. The funny thing is, I thought it got better when it changed halfway through, because all the colors were matching and they're different shades and such. The backgrounds were all too simple, because if you're going to draw something simple, this is from an artist's perspective. I'm an artist.
I'm an artist.
I'm an artist. But on a serious note, if you want to make something simple and you don't want to do too much detail, you need to focus on the coloring and the shading, because the shading is what makes the details. And that's my take on that.
I wrote down some prank names for this movie that I was going to mix into our conversations, but then forgot about until just now. I think that, whoever named the film should really go back and rethink their life, because I came up with better titles.
Oh, definitely.
The movie is called Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, which, on a little side note, there was 3 minutes of Knights and Dragons theme in an hour and 50-minute movie.
Yeah, I was waiting for more, and it was just not at all. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's not a knight fighting dragons. It's just a shitty dad. It's just a shitty family.
It's like they were trying to take a certain very small memory and make it this big, huge thing that ties the whole story together, and it doesn't. It's it feels so ham-fisted. It's the whole pig. But anyway, Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons is the worst title. Yep. It should have been Deathstroke, Knights and Flashbacks, because there are about 100 flashbacks in this movie. Another one like that would be Deathstroke, Revenge of the Exposition, because that's what the movie was when the characters weren't fighting. My personal favorite would be the DC animated movie number 43, Seed of Deathstroke. Because this, spoilers, is a revenge story about Deathstroke's kids getting all messed up in the head and coming back and being like, I hate you! And he's like, but I love you! And they're like, no, I'll kill you! So,
or Deathstroke, what are you doing, step bro? Because of the unwanted sexual tension between his kids.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that.
Very uncomfortable.
I love you, and we don't need anyone else but each other, because our parents suck, and my mom died.
Literal line from the movie.
Let's go into this mind chamber together that you can create Jericho.
Hey, they didn't touch each other in the mind chamber, so everything's okay.
How do you know?
They showed it.
They don't have to show it.
They cut the sex scene out. So my last thought on this would be really an interest in why is DC pumping out so many animated movies, and Marvel basically gave up on it a long time ago. I looked it up. They made 8 movies from 2006 to 2011 and then just stopped.
Oh yeah, there's no animated movies in Marvel, are there? Except for the ones that they wanted to...
The 8 that I just named from 2006 to 2011. But after 2011, they just stopped. So, I mean, the obvious answer would be Marvel's killing it with the live-action movies. DC is not killing it with the live-action movies. They're doing well with the animated movies. But why can't Marvel get their shit together?
Well, Marvel was doing it. Remember that whole, what do you call that? You know, what Fandom was? Mm-hmm. Except, in person. What is that called?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, you know when you go to Comic-Cons and you go to that, where someone's talking, there's a bunch of people, talking on stage. What is that?
Panel?
Yes, a panel. Okay, so, they had a whole panel about, they're doing anime, they're going to do, a Black Panther, what if Black Panther, or T'Challa became... Yeah, the What If series. That's
okay.
That whole thing that they were going to do. I don't know where that is.
So they're coming back and trying it again.
Yeah, did you hear anything about that? Or see anything about that?
The What If?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything
or
about it
that
for a
whole
while.
panel. Or did you ever like watch that?
No, I didn't really watch it. I just watched the headlines coming out of it.
That's what we need Spencer for.
Yep.
Spencer, why aren't you here? Why do you have to have a girlfriend?
Alleged girlfriend.
Alleged girlfriend.
We've never met her.
I've never met her.
No.
I've never seen her. He won't show me a picture of her. He's like,
you
no.
haven't seen the wallet picture?
What wallet picture?
The picture that came in the wallet. He's like, that's my girlfriend, and I'm like, that's the picture that came in the wallet.
the one that's holding like she's like wrapped around another guy, but it's like that's cut out of Spencer's face taped on him. The dude's like really buff and stuff.
That's the one.
Oh, okay, I've seen that one at least.
Any more thoughts on Deathstroke?
I feel like there's so much there's just so much bad. It was so bad that it was funny, and like there was such weird.
About halfway through, it was so bad it was good.
Yeah,
but then it just kept tanking.
They started out the movie like we should feel something for him, like we should like feel bad for him, or like we should already know him. That's what they acted. They acted like we've had a movie before this, like this is a sequel.
I mean, it's possible. I haven't seen all 40-ish animated movies.
It felt like it was another movie that had like an origin in it, but it wasn't the origin, you know what I mean?
So,
it felt like we should have cared about him already.
According to all-knowing, all-seeing Wikipedia, this was supposed to be an animated web series that was announced May 2019 and premiered January 6th, 2020.
Oh.
It was planned to air as a 12-episode web series on CW Seed.
Oh.
But those plans were canceled after the very first episode. Sounds familiar?
Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing.
So
we love you, Swamp Thing.
So yeah, it was canceled after the first episode, allegedly, due to Wikipedia.
Allegedly.
But then it was released as a movie on August 4th. So there's something there. Spencer, our main research dude and
main reporter,
no longer host.
Nope, because Jacob took that over.
Suck it.
Eat my booty hole.
If you could find this out, please, and get back to us next week, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. I love you.
So maybe that's why this movie was so choppy.
To rebuttal, I guess, on what you were saying about them just like pushing out movies. It could be probably a very, very slim chance, but it could be just like a marketing thing to be like, hey, we have all this movies, but we do have these good ones.
Right.
So you're like, hey, at least we like these good ones, and you'll buy the good ones.
Also, it's almost definitely cheaper to make than live action movies.
Oh, of course.
So
at least this story is so bad, but I'm so thankful that it's a cartoon rather than the live action.
Yeah,
because we all seen how Suicide Squad went,
and the list can go on.
Yep, should have been an animated show.
At least with the animated version, the action scenes were decent.
Yeah, they're relatively okay.
They were entertaining
I was entertained
compared to the rest of the movie.
I laughed a couple times.
Yeah,
especially when that lady got her throat slit right through with a katana.
That was just the point of the movie that was so bad. I just wanted it to freaking end.
Or like when Deathstroke's like wife or whatever she is, like just let that chick stab her and then turn the blade. She just stood there.
Standing there with the sword pointed at Deathstroke's ex-wife, and the ex-wife is like just staring at it, and then she gets skewered.
And she's supposed to be like this such like badass army chick or whatever. She's just like gets her ass whooped all the time, and then she like always has her fucking cleavage open. Like you're out on top of a plane and you just like having your boobs out. I mean, I get it, like feminism and all that, like good for you, but like your boobs might fall out because of the air pressure going probably like 230 miles per hour, man.
The fight scene on top of the jet fighters didn't make sense anyway. It was so bad.
They had like those, like, I don't know, like if it was a magnet or something, but they had like the magnet gloves, and like the bad guys had magnet boots or whatever, and they had like the colors on them. Like green means that you're attached, and red means you're not, so you're gonzo.
And then all of a sudden, Deathstroke like comes at the bad guys with a flying kick, and
how did he stay on the airplane at 230 miles per hour?
Good stuff.
I enjoyed the movie.
So, if you are a die-hard Deathstroke fan, this movie's for you. But besides
I'm so
that,
sorry for you.
you deserve better.
You do.
But besides that, this is just so bad that it could be good, depending on how much you hate yourself.
And I hate myself a lot.
Yeah. So we both enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But only kind of.
Only kind of.
Any other thoughts on?
No, man, I'm done. I don't want to have any memory of this ever again.
Oh, come on. We should revisit this in a year.
Never. I'm not watching this ever again.
All right. So that moves us along into our next part of the show, which is always, of course, everybody knows this, what we're watching.
Yes, sir.
So, Colin, start us off.
Okay, so I started watching Nightcrawler a while back, and I told you guys on one of the podcasts,
right.
I finished it.
Oh, dang.
So, like, it was a little rough for me to watch. Like, I always have this feeling, like, oh, it's not going to be good, or, like, it's good, but, like, I have no time to watch it type of thing.
Right.
And so I finished it right after I finished another thing I watched, but I'll tell you after that. So Nightcrawler, it's about this. Actually, let me read you what it says on Netflix, because you can find it on Netflix. And I rated it with a thumbs up because I found it very entertaining. And
to be fair, you found it on Netflix in the U.S.
That's
ExpressVPN, sponsor us.
So it's about a young hustler finds success trolling the streets of Los Angeles to film disasters and death. But the darkness he captures starts to take hold of him. So a Nightcrawler is a person who prowls the streets and listens to police radios to find things to record and sell to news broadcasts and sells to the highest bidder.
Yep.
So this guy, he's a genius. So what he did is, like, he's like a big swindler, and you find him in the beginning, and he's like selling stuff to people, metal to this guy, and you can tell that, like, he got that metal from stealing,
right,
and all this shit. And so he drives to that to the construction guy that I'm talking about, and he tries to get a job from him because he's trying to get, like, an actual stable job, and he's like, no, I don't hire thieves, because he already knows,
right,
but he'll still buy stuff from him. Anyway, he finds a calling to record disasters on his way home from this conversation, and he finds that out that he wants to do this through this car crash that happened, and these night crawlers came up with a van and came and shot it and got close up and all that. And through the movie, he gets recording equipment, really cheap stuff, and goes to one of the most underrated news station that has the least amount of views.
Okay,
so that's
the underdog.
Yes, the underdog. So he goes to them and sells stuff to them. They're like, oh yeah, if you got any more, come back, kid. And so he starts getting a little sketchier and sketchier. Like, he goes and, like, gets into, like, the faces of people that are, like, dying on the street.
Wow.
And, like, the police officers, like, pushing him away and everything. And eventually, like, he hires this guy to help him and it's, like, record and listen police radio and scanners and everything.
Yep.
And he's like, it's an internship. And the guy's like, dude, I need money. He's like, well, I can give you $30 every night. He's like, sold. And so as this goes on, they get money and they record more stuff, and he gets this new car, the main character.
Yep.
And it's a nice car, and it's got, like, radio and everything. And the guy that he hired is, like, you can tell he's slowly annoyed with him because he's buying all this stuff, but he's not getting a raise or anything, and even has a conversation about that. Anyway, keeps going, and then we find ourselves at they find themselves at a crime that the police aren't even at yet. So they're right there before the police, and it was a break-in. And so he walks into the house, or he goes up to the house, and the two people that shot up the house are leaving, and he gets their license plate and their faces, but he goes right inside the house and gets up real close to 2 dead bodies, and then one that you can hear is gurgling. Ugh. And does nothing. And so that's like a big thing in the whole story. But I want to point out another thing, because I don't want to like spoil too much.
Right.
I want to point out that there was another time where he went to this crash, and this guy, and he's trying to like get a good like perspective. But what he did is the guy was it was a crash, and I don't know what he crashed into, but like he flung out of the front window, and what he did is he didn't like the shot, so he moved the guy in front of the car for the lighting and started recording.
Cheapest.
Like, holy shit.
So what's the point of this movie? What did you end up liking it?
I loved the movie because it was just like, I don't know, I love sadistic things, I guess. Like, it makes me feel better about myself, I guess.
Okay.
He's just like he sees himself as a businessman, and like he just doesn't like people. You find that out and stuff, but like he's always on the verge. He looks and acts like he's always on the verge of like going to murder someone, but he doesn't. So I loved the movie because this was like very real based movie. It wasn't like crazy, like whenever there's an explosion or guns popped out, someone's dying. A ton of people are dying, like cops dying and everything. So what it shows is like the people that record our news are not good people. Like they'll get, it wasn't just him, they also showed like other night crawlers doing like close to the same thing but border like on the line of it.
Yep.
Of like inhumane, and it just shows you like a lot of the people that record our news for us are not news, it's just night crawlers.
So it's almost documentary, but not really.
It's almost like an awareness, like how you know how Joker's like almost a mental awareness type of movie, almost.
Kind of, but
this movie is like an almost awareness of that.
All right, good equivalent.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that you referenced right in the beginning there?
Movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched another movie with the same actor.
Ah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, sir. I was watching Prisoners. Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman.
Oh, I remember that one.
That was such a good movie. So you've seen this.
I saw it when it came out years ago. What was that, 2013?
2014, I think.
Dang.
It's like 13 or 14. But like, I loved this movie. I loved this movie way more. I actually, you know how I found it?
Redbox. I nailed it, 2013.
No, I saw it's on Hulu. But how I found it is through TikTok.
TikTok bad.
No, it's not. It's not.
I found it through Redbox.
Okay. Whatever. Well,
that might have been the first movie I rented from Redbox, actually.
I've never like personally rented a movie from Redbox.
Wow.
Yeah.
Back in my day,
I
used to walk into Blockbuster and rent movies.
I went to Blockbuster too. I remember watching the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Dude, that was that blew my mind, and when I watch it now, it still blows my mind. I love that.
Cool. All right, but back to
Sorry. But Prisoners.
Yeah.
It's about two families and their two daughters, youngest daughters, are kidnapped by whom they believe is this man named Alex. I forget what his last name is. But, and then we have, and one of the parents is Hugh Jackman. And then we also have Detective Loki, who's played by...
Hugh Jackman.
No, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ah.
I was trying to like see if I could say his name right. So Hugh Jackman's the father.
Yep.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is the detective.
Yep.
And I loved this movie because it was all about the plot. It wasn't really about the characters. I mean, yes, it was in some ways. There was character, their story within the characters without having to tell it. So when you look at Detective Loki, he doesn't look like he would be a cop.
Right.
He's got this like slick back hair and like cut short. He looks like he's a bad cop, and he's got like a neck tattoo and he's got finger tattoos. And I have like heard a podcast about this, talking about this. That's how I found it. A podcast on TikTok. It's weird. Anyway, so he's got like tattoos on his fingers and his hands, like it's gang tattoos. And so it could be like he was got into like a lot of bad stuff when he was younger, like as a kid, or he was mostly an undercover cop, and he got those tattoos that way. And
right.
He's like gritty. He's not like cynical though, but he's got like you can tell he's got trauma in him.
He's got backstory somewhere.
Yeah, he's got backstory in his eyes. And,
baggage and history and all
yeah,
that.
but it doesn't affect like his morale, which I like it a lot. It's not a part of the story. His background's not a part of the story, which I love.
I attached to Hugh Jackman's side of the story.
Really?
When I first watched it, I took the movie to be like Taken, but not a superhero movie. It's like a realistic, what would you do if your kids were kidnapped?
You could go crazy.
Yeah. So that's what I took away from the movie.
Yeah, this movie, I've never really seen Hugh Jackman in anything other as Wolverine. So seeing him as like but like as an actor of just not a random role, but just another role other than
A regular role?
Yeah, a regular role. Amazing.
Not
He's
as a god.
Yeah.
That is Wolverine.
Amazing actor. Same with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like two totally different characters. He played a sadistic man who didn't care about anyone in Nightcrawler, and then he played a detective who cared so much about finding these kids,
right,
that he even like almost tortured certain people to get answers out of them, and intimidated people. Like even this like a guy that they captured who was like the main lead eventually. He like started beating him and everything and trying to get answers out of him, and then two cops had to come back and restrict him, but the guy took his gun, took Detective Loki's gun and shot himself.
Right.
So the movie was I loved the movie because I like stuff like this, but also it was just like a good breather from like comic book movies, you know?
Right.
And you kind of need that every now and then.
So I started watching Dragon's Dogma, which is a new anime title from Netflix's miserable anime department because they can't seem to make anything good.
Yeah, kind of.
It came out September 17th, so apparently that makes it that the first day that I watched it was the first day it was out, which is a complete accident. I haven't.
Wow.
I played the game about 5 minutes past the introductory video. So I don't know anything about Dragon's Dogma. I'm just gonna be honest.
I didn't know there was a game.
Yeah, there was a game back on the PS3 and I believe Xbox 360. Let me fact check myself very quickly. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen came out in 2012. Produced by Capcom.
Oh, I remember playing Capcom versus Marvel.
Yes, same company.
That.
So, 7 episodes, 20-ish minutes per. I watched a total of 2.
Oh, so it's bad.
No, it was just I've had a very, very busy week and haven't been able to watch anything. I was pretty much trying to cram this before recording and failed. But I saw 2 whole episodes, so I'm pretty proud of myself. The opening scene kind of let me know what I was getting myself into as far as I've seen.
Okay.
Because it's got, a town being destroyed and a dude running through trying to find his family, and he finds them and they get like Thanos snapped, like dissolved away in the wind, and that part looked really, really good. And then he turns around to see a huge ass dragon like wrecking the town, and the dragon looks like the same kind of CG that the Tauntaun had on my old VHS copy of
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Like when it dies and it looked like it took like 3 frames.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Oh, man.
I called family members over. I'm like, watch this. I went back to the Thanos snap and I'm like, what do you think of that? And they're like, looks fine. I'm like, looks pretty good, right? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, now watch this. And like right when it turned to the dragon, and he's like, "Rah!" And they're like, what are you watching? I'm like, I don't know.
Sounds like a rough time.
So I stuck with it. Pretty generic fantasy setting so far, which is fine by me. I've been digging generic fantasy settings lately.
Understandable.
Episode 2, pretty much the same thing. You know, just regular old anime. You'd probably appreciate it.
Oh, yeah,
except
I like
for
anime.
the monster in this episode has the same animation as
Oh,
the dragon.
no.
It's miserable. It just looks so bad.
Bro.
So, 5 episodes left. I'm gonna finish it. I should have it done by next week, but 50-50 on this one so far.
Oof.
And like all the voices online are like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good! It's metal!" And I'm like, "No,
What?
it's fantasy, not
Yeah.
metal."
It's not metal.
So that's what I've been watching. Have
That's
you
the only
been
thing-
watching anything else?
Yes, I
That's
have.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
So you know what that means?
Spencer, what have you been watching? Nothing, because you're not here. Suck it.
So Colin, what else have you been watching?
I watched an anime.
Oh my gosh!
45-minute anime, which is on Netflix, and it is called The Garden of Words.
I'll have to insert crickets there.
Definitely do that.
The Garden of Words.
Which is also on HBO Max. Sponsor us, please, right now. So, when a lonely teenager skips his morning classes to sit in a lovely garden, he meets a mysterious older woman who shares his feelings of alienation.
It's really weird because IMDb has it in here as sounded out Japanese. Koto no ha no ninwa.
Koto no hama ni na.
Yeah, that's the one. Except you messed it up, but I'll let it go.
Yep.
So it's really weird that IMDb translated the Garden of Words into Koto no ha no niwa.
Yep. Probably a Tonka. Probably not. So like,
Anyway.
Tonka is something that was talked about in this. So, it wasn't bad. The art was beautiful.
I was gonna say it looks really, really nice.
The art is magnificent, especially when they like cook food. Anime cooking food is perfect. It
makes you hungry.
Yes, and I have to watch it. And like Abby loves watching it. I watched this with her actually because we were looking for something quick to like watch.
Yeah.
45 minutes. It's not terrible. It starts out with this kid who skipping class and he meets this girl like that's there.
Yeah.
And he's just drawing out shoes because he wants.
Giggity.
I know it's okay. It has a little bit weird like foot thing in there. Not too weird, not sexual, but like you can be like, why their feet? Why? It's just that he wants to be a cobbler. Is a man who makes shoes.
That's what they all say.
So he designs shoes, like women's shoes, because he likes them, and you find out why he wants to. And it's nothing creepy, it's nothing gross, but he wants to do that. And he's there, he's practicing his art, you know, and he sees that this older woman is eating chocolate and drinking beer, and it's like
that's a weird mixture, unless she's
morning.
drinking a lovely chocolate stout. In which case, it could be a pretty good pairing, but
crickets. How do I explain that? It's like it's kind of like another one of those movies that isn't like a big like superhero thing or like a crazy thing. It's just a story between two humans, and with all the conversations they have, and like he's talking all the time, and she's just like there to listen pretty much. She never really talks about herself, and you find out eventually who she is, and he falls in love with this 27-year-old woman even though he's 15. But the thing is,
happens all the time.
Doesn't act like a 15-year-old, like except for like when he has a breakdown. But like he acts more mature than his older brother and his mom. His mom's like, there's a point in the movie where they talk about their mom like looks young, is youthful, and it's like dating guys like her son, like the ages of her sons. It's just gross. Yeah. MILF.
Crickets.
He's just like mature, I guess, and so they talk and everything, and he falls in love with her, and she tells him that like they can't be together, and there's like a whole thing like that. And that's like pretty much the end of that. But like I'm not telling you any big details.
Okay.
Because I think you should watch it. I have an opinion for yourself on it, but I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again actually, just for the art. Like it's really just good for the art. Enjoyable. It's a quick watch.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that's as far as I can remember.
We have a winner, folks.
I haven't been a winner in a long time.
So, I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
So that brings us to our next segment. Everybody knows what it is. Come on, folks. It's time for the news.
Are you ready for the news?
Are you ready for the news? I think that we should
go back and forth.
Yes, like a proper newscast.
Oh, let's practice this.
So
yes.
you have the
I got the agenda.
Yes.
That I haven't read. I was going to read it today, but
I read it in your driveway.
I love that. Man, at least we're on the same page.
Also, I have a stipulation because what's his name? Numbnuts isn't here. I am banning any news from let's just say his cult. Okay? We're not going to name it. We're going to have a whole episode without naming his cult. So with that being said,
no more news.
From GamesRadar.com, originally launched in 2009, DC's Earth 1 line is a new reader-friendly updated retelling of DC characters' origins. Considered at its launch as somewhat of an answer to Marvel's Ultimate line, Earth 1 differentiated itself by presenting its updated stories as original graphic novels instead of single-issue monthly comic books. Holy crap, can you make these sentences longer?
Close to run-off sentences. To date, they've released volumes for Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and the Teen Titans.
But in 2015, DC announced 2 Earth 1 OGNs. Don't ask me what that means.
I don't know what it means.
That have yet to come out. Those were Aquaman Earth 1 by writer-artist Francis Manapul and The Flash Earth 1 by writer J. Michael Straczynski.
Lee also says that the third volume of Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Batman, Earth 1 is, quote, near complete, end quote. Quote, we don't have a launch date or a publication date yet, but stay tuned, end quote, Lee said. Adding it would be, quote, very soon, end quote.
That's a lot of quotes.
Yes.
Any thoughts on this?
The funny thing is, like, when I read this, nothing goes through my mind except for the words.
Right?
Like, they go in, they come out. I can't, like, I don't know what I'm reading.
I think the only Earth 1 line that I started was Wonder Woman, and it just wasn't doing anything for me, so I stopped reading it.
I don't think I've read any of the Earth ones.
Yeah, I haven't either. So I feel mostly unaffected by this bit of news, but there's more coming. So yay to comic books. We need more comic books in the world.
Of course we do.
Next up, The Mandalorian Season 2 trailer dropped.
Drop.
Dropped.
Drop top. Crop top.
You... Crop dust?
Crop dust? I did that a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, you did. You texted me the moment that it came out and said that we were going to talk the shit out of this trailer. So, have at it. The mic is yours.
Uh-oh. So, when I said that, I assumed that I would have watched it 5 times, like the Batman trailer.
Yeah.
I've watched it once.
I did too.
So, I watched it, like, after I got to work and I got home, and excited.
Yeah.
There was a scene in there that it's implying that there may be a Jedi in this, but not Jedi that we've seen, other than obviously we know that Ahsoka Tano's in it in this season, and Boba Fett. I'm pretty sure. That's what I've heard.
And whoever has the Darksaber at the end of season 1. Whoever, that could be Jedi or Sith or in between.
Moff Gideon has it right now. Remember?
No.
I don't remember the last episode of.
Nah, not
Okay,
really.
it was Moff Gideon that had it.
Cool.
That's the first time we saw it in the whole season.
And, by the way, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I watched the trailer once and said, "Wow, more Mandalorian."
Yeah, honestly.
End of October, freaking right! I was so excited.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I'm excited that's so close, and I'm glad that they aren't showing much. It's just more like, hey, the Mandalorian's back at it again, but I like that it's different planets.
Yep.
We got a snowy planet. We got some more like populated planets.
I think there was a green planet.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited for that.
I saw a headline. It could have been clickbait, saying that the snowy planet could have been the same one that was an Easter egg in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep.
It's the freaking
It's also the
Death Star Redux from the new trilogy.
Yep.
Right?
That's the Kyber Crystal planet.
Yes.
Spencer,
Ilium,
what is it?
I believe.
Ilium. We don't need you, Spencer.
Nerd.
I
did that without researching it.
That would be cool. The first time I saw Ilium was in the Clone Wars cartoon. That's the first time that I think that's the first time we've ever seen Ilium was in that.
So, could have been clickbait, but
could have been. I also saw a clickbait about Yoda being taller, and it was literally just...
It's not Yoda.
Baby Yoda, sorry. It's not Yoda. Remember, this takes place 5 years after Episode 6. Yoda's dead. It's...
Kind of.
It is... He's one with the Force.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Yoda species child.
A Yodian.
Yodean. Or I heard that people
Yodian.
call it like a tridactyl.
Not a pterodactyl.
No, tridactyl.
Oh.
Like 3, like fingies. Like the... You know what I mean?
Anything else on Mandalorian?
Just excited.
Yeah. And it comes out in a month and a week. So...
Down, right before Halloween.
Freaking right.
Hell yes. Right. On with the news. According to a Disney Plus coming in 2020 trailer, WandaVision is still premiering this year.
Freaking right.
According to set photos, Batroc the Leaper is returning in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I think it's Batroc.
Batroc? Batroc? I don't know.
He was seen in the opening fight of Captain America.
Oh, is that the Skull guy? Civil War?
Nope, not Civil War. It's the other one. The
Winter Soldier?
one. Winter Soldier. Thank you.
I don't remember the opening fight.
Yeah, it's on.
It's been a while.
It's on a ship.
Mm-hmm, I remember that.
And they killed him off pretty quick. Well, they beat him up and made him stop fighting pretty quickly. So
yeah.
the masses were like, "We want more Batroc."
Yeah, Marvel has a thing for killing off characters.
See this guy? Gone.
Yeah, see this fan favorite? Gone. Dead.
Yep. So we are skipping a whole page of news. Suck it, Spencer.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about all that.
This is the only one that I will mention. From theculturednerd.com. Sources close to both TCN and DCU News, or DCU News, depending on how you read it, have confirmed Henry Cavill has signed a new deal to reprise his role as Superman in future DC films.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sources close to TCN have confirmed, per the information provided by Josh at DCU News, that Cavill did indeed recently help pitch a new Superman project.
Ooh.
The pitch was widely praised and has led to the official confirmation of his new contract for more appearances as Superman. Ours and DCU News sources have stated that the contract includes 3 films for Cavill's pitch and options for future cameos in other DC films for a total of 5 to 6 movies.
Ooh.
As of now, we do not know which 3 films specifically this deal entails, but they can be anything from another solo outing, which would be amazing, to a prominent role in a Black Adam and Shazam film.
Ooh, that reminds me of how they had the stunt double for Shazam. Superman stunt double.
Yes.
He was in the back of it. I always thought that it was Henry Cavill, like when I heard about it, but we also never, when I watched the movie, never see his face. So I was like, oh, it's a stunt double.
No official word from Cavill or DC at this time. Also, it's probably a good thing that Spencer isn't here for this because he would just be wetting himself.
Yeah, dude, he'd be so wet.
He wouldn't.
From Deadline.com, after tapping Cat Coiro, okay. From Deadline.com, after tapping Cat Coro, I can't say it. I'm so sorry. Cat, last name, can't say it. As director, Marvel Studios looks to have found its star to take over the title role in its She-Hulk series. Sources tell Deadline that Orphan Black star Tatiana Maslany is the choice to play the title character in Marvel's She-Hulk series for Disney+. Deadline broke on Tuesday that Coiro would direct several episodes, including the pilot for the series, and now the show has its actress for the highly coveted role.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, a note to our editor, starting a sentence saying, tapping female name as director does not sound appropriate in any means.
Yes, we do not approve of this misogyny. How dare you?
But back to what the article was actually saying, we are getting another attempt at Hulk, which it's been too long, really.
That's true.
So, and it's a She-Hulk series, so I don't think anything about She-Hulk has been teased in the MCU so far as I know. So
yeah, no, I don't think anything at all.
this is pretty exciting news. Continuing with the news, Harley Quinn was renewed for season 3 at HBO Max.
I haven't seen.
I have been waiting to subscribe to get all the goodies on HBO Max before I actually subscribe, but that is on my list before I have a list.
Really?
I've heard about the season 1 and I believe 2 through other means and heard that it's really, really good. It looks like the Batman animated series, but it's made for adults. It's got language and violence and all the other good stuff that
they make fun of people like
adults
Spencer.
only can watch. So I consider myself to be an adult only when it comes to the content that I'm ingesting.
Yes, sir.
And not certain life choices. So I'm excited for that, and I haven't seen anything from it.
And they make fun of people like Spencer. Snyderbots.
From comicbook.com, with its change from DC Universe to DC Universe Infinite, wait a minute, that makes it DCUI, which makes it an artificial intelligence, which makes it the Terminator that's going to take over the world.
Ah!
Anyway, change from DC Universe to DC Universe Infinite. The service will transition primarily into a premium digital comic book platform featuring an expanded collection of comics and original graphic novels spanning over 80 years of the DC multiverse. The new version of the service is set to launch on January 21st, 2021. So 1/21/21 for those paying attention and listening in DOS.
Spencer.
With access to more than 24,000 comic books at launch, DC Universe Infinite subscribers will also encounter digital first comics, exclusive access to DC fan events, as well as a steady stream of recently released comics 6 months after the physical versions hit store shelves. Pricing will be $7.99 or $8 monthly if you are taxed. Probably more than $8 to be honest.
Definitely more than $8.
$5 to add HBO Max onto existing DCU accounts.
HBO Max, sponsor us.
I'm kind of interested in this because, as previously stated, Marvel has their own online service, and you've got Comixology, which has, some big hitters from DC and Marvel, but
They don't really have much
not
crazy
a huge
stuff, do
selection, right? So, and now we're getting the DC version, which is pretty cheap to add HBO Max to. It's only $5 a month instead of
Seems pretty good.
15 for just HBO Max. So maybe I'm missing something there, but
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not, because it's kind of like that whole students with Spotify get like Hulu and crap like that.
Right.
Yeah, it could be
just
something.
Bundling it together.
Yeah,
Sounds like
that's kinda
cable
cool.
all over again. Wait a minute. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
The Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, but The Suicide Squad will be rated R, stated by Joel Kinnaman in an interview. Yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Suicide Squad, the original, probably should have been rated R and been left as a more whole piece.
honestly, Joker probably should have just been the main villain. That's what even what Ayer said. He said,
Really?
Yeah, he said, in hindsight, this isn't a quote. This is me paraphrasing. Ayer said that in hindsight, he wishes that he made Joker the villain instead. Yeah, because it would make more sense with like the characters instead of like that whole mystical shit, and it would have made sense if he had more time to write it, what I am told, he had like 4 weeks to write it.
Oof.
The whole script. That is what I'm told. That is not a quote. So there's that.
Cool.
Oh, coming at you with more breaking news.
Oh my gosh.
Pattinson recovered from COVID and is back to filming.
Yay.
Yay! I love my Pattinson. I'm excited. I am so glad that my strong boy is back playing my stronger boy, Batman.
He kicked COVID's ass like Batman's gonna kick Riddler's ass, maybe?
Gonna-
if that's the villain? I don't know.
Like he's gonna slap Catwoman's booty.
Oh! That's dank.
Yes.
And that brings us to our last segment of the episode. Everybody knows what it is. Colin, what have you been reading?
I read one thing, and it was the most dreadful thing I have ever read, ever. Sorry it took so long, but it's just like, where do I start, man? I can't, I read it this morning, because...
Alright, so say what it is.
So it's the Dark Souls comic you let me lend. I don't know what the title is. I just remember I had to read it.
Also, you wanted to read it because you have zero experience with anything Dark Souls or Dark Souls alike, if I'm correct.
Yes, you're correct. I have been exposed to Dark Souls before, but not playing, just like the conversation. But for an introduction to Dark Souls, it was not a good one.
Yeah, I could have told you that.
I should have just listened. I should have asked that. But like, the art style is just so bad. Like, I felt like it was hard to look at. There's no solid lines, which is okay. But like, if there's no solid lines, what you need to do is at least color. You need to add more shading.
Right.
It was just bad, man. Like, I felt like the story was like, it was odd. It was probably because I haven't heard any other stories, maybe. No, it was just bad.
It was just bad.
Just bad.
We talked about this for 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. It was just bad. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a fun time. I hated her armor. Like, why is it every time we have a medieval, like, female, like, her armor is, like, designed to go fully around her boobs instead of like how actual armor would be?
That's why they call it a breastplate.
That's not how armor works. It was just like, it's just for like, I guess, sexual appeal in a way, I guess.
I didn't really get that. It looked more functional than lots of fantasy female armor has been portrayed. It looks to be mostly protective. I don't remember it emphasizing assets too much.
It really did though, like her curves and like.
Well, maybe curves,
Yeah.
but hey, maybe those are natural.
All right, yeah, I guess so, but I just didn't like
It's
her.
not like
she
it
was
was
like
a plunging neckline or anything. It was a full armor set.
I guess it also just like sometimes how she's sad. It was like, it's like that's not how the armor would work.
Draw me like one of your French girls.
Yeah, but it's just like,
Even if you didn't know anything about Dark Souls, the story was just boring.
it was boring. Some of it just didn't make sense. I didn't
Yep.
understand where it was going.
Yep.
Like, what was the like? Why was she like being condemned? It seemed like she was killing zombies.
Yep.
Why was that such a bad thing? I don't understand. I feel like I'm missing something. Like there was something. And
So the first world that they were in, I appreciated. It was a crystal-like world. There were huge crystals, walls coming up out of the ground everywhere.
so it's a
It was
world,
very-
not just a place.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Just whatever. Where they were, it was an interesting setting, very colorful. The crystals looked pretty cool.
I didn't really like the colors. I didn't like it too much. That's my opinion, though.
Okay.
I'm a Mike Mignola guy.
We went so far into the episode. Alright.
That's gonna talk about it like every episode.
I too only read one thing this week. I have it right here.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. We need to do that every time if we have the book. I was listening to the podcast, and I heard me doing that with the stories by Saint Mike.
Yep.
And it was so good.
So good.
So good.
This one came out pretty good too. I'll do a double take.
Do it.
Just
Double take. So good.
Okay. So I read the 10th and last, I don't know, volume, I guess, of Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo and a whole bunch of other people. The back cover says that it includes Batman number 51 and 52, which is the end of the run. The last volume had ended on number 49. Or sorry, number 50. And this book also includes Batman Futures End number 1 and Batman Annual number 4 and a preview of Batman Rebirth number 1, but nobody cares about that.
Nope.
This was a weird one, man.
It looks good, though.
It really is an epilogue. It has nothing to do with really what happened with the rest of the series.
It's just tying it up.
First one happens 5 years from now,
Okay.
and it's an interesting take. I have a feeling this is where the Batman Metal series came from, but I don't know. I haven't read any of that series.
Okay.
Spencer has, and he's probably yelling at his podcast player, whatever device that may be right now as I talk. The next one goes back in time to pretty much before Volume 9 and says, oh, wait, we meant to include this one, and it's an interesting story.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're good, but it doesn't feel like a complete
Does it feel out of
thorough
place?
wrap-up of the story. I was expecting more after Volume 9. I didn't realize that was the end, and this is just an unattached epilogue, pretty much.
Does it kind of feel like Hellboy in Hell? Like how that was? Or
No, that feels more like the end.
Okay, that feels more like it's actually an epilogue.
Yeah.
Like a part of the
This
story.
feels kind of like a short stories collection.
It feels like it's this is a place where you
or
can
like
sit.
a what if.
Oh, okay. So it's
or-
like a place for people to sit waiting for the new comics to come around. It's like, here's this.
No,
No?
It's the run is over, and they were like, "Oh crap, that's a really good idea, but the story's over. Frig it. Let's just make it and say, all right, this goes in between this number and this number."
Okay, so it's
So
all right.
it's looking back in time and saying we should have done this better.
Okay.
Also, high praises to whoever's in charge at DC, because my black and white copies of the cover art are back, baby, and they look good.
Man, you love those, don't you?
I freaking love them.
Oh my gosh.
That's Sean Murphy, the guy who did
White Knight.
White Knight.
Oh, I love his art style so much. It reminds me of animated series.
I like the black and white version better than the colored version. I don't like the red in this guy.
I mean, like, it's just the same, except for it's just red.
Right.
A dash of red.
Yeah. I don't like the dash of red. I like the black and white.
I kind of like it, but I think I just like both equally. That's my opinion.
You're an equal opportunity colorist?
Yes, sir.
I also found it interesting. At the very end of the book, they have alternate covers, which I love looking at. But the first one shown is the alternate cover for number 51. So there's the real cover. It's Batman in the Batcave, facing down angrily at the floor, flexing his sexy muscles for us, and you can see the Batmobile in the back.
I think that's a Tumblr.
Back computer over his other shoulder, and then flip to the back of the book. It's the same pose by Batman.
You can see some bat cheeks.
Oh yeah, the cape is there, but also you can see the spine, the metal spine sticking through.
Yeah.
So small difference there. But what I noticed was instead of the tumbler and the bat computer, he's facing an army of Batmen, which I find way more intriguing than just him in the Batcave.
Yes, I find that
being
very
angry.
more interesting.
It's like, whoa, this is going to be a weird story. And it was really good.
I find it way more interesting seeing the bat butt.
Also, you can see the Bat computer there. So maybe they just stuck 100 Batman over.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the same drawing. Like, look,
right.
Go back. All of these are the same.
Exactly.
These are...
So I'm wondering if the Tumblr's behind.
Oh, it definitely
those
is.
Batmen.
It definitely is. They just covered it and like copy and paste. I'm fine with that.
Right. It looks good.
Was the Calendar Man in that?
That's in the Rebirth #1 that nobody cares about.
Oh, okay. Because I like the Calendar Man.
I didn't even read it.
Oh, really?
Also, I was cramming for this episode.
Understandable. Okay.
So,
any takeaways from it?
Yeah, I need to reread this series.
Oh my gosh.
Also, I need more Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo Batman stories.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's more. I think they did Batman Eternal, which is on my Christmas wish list if anybody cares to donate. I think Scott Snyder's also doing the Batman Metal series and Heavy Metal series, and I'm just sitting here waiting for the Death Metal series. So, I mean, it keeps escalating. You're gonna have Batman Metal, Batman Heavy Metal, Batman Metalcore, and then Batman Death Metal.
Don't forget about Batman Black Metal.
Yep. Black Metal and Viking Metal.
Grungecore.
Yep. Colin and I are both metalheads, so
we really are.
Give me all of the metals.
Please do.
With Batman.
We want the Metal Man. Tin Man. Mercury.
I think that's almost the end of the show.
What would you rate this whole comic series?
The whole comic series?
1 through 10. What would you think?
Favorite Batman series I've ever read.
Really? It's that good?
Yes.
That's awesome. So
amazing artwork, great stories, a couple shortcomings. Year 1 is a bit slow.
Would you say it's a 9?
Oh.
Is that too much to ask? An 8.5?
9.3.
9.3. That's still very, very good. All right.
It's right there. Year 1 brings it down just a touch.
That's the
but
thing.
It's still colorful. It's really good artwork.
4 and 5, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, that's the one I'm reading right now.
It also feels a little bit out of place in the series. Again, they were like chugging along and they were like, oh crap, we should have set this up better. Flashback!
Okay. I mean, I enjoyed number 4. Yeah. And I was reading 5 and I stopped for some reason.
Really, really good Batman comic book.
All right, yeah.
So with that being said, I don't think we have any housekeeping.
No, I think.
And I was not made aware of any hate mail or any other kind of mail.
I haven't read any hate mail. I was actually listening to New Mutants episode 6, and I was going to email hate mail to ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
To you.
That's dank. What did I do?
I don't know. I think it was some. I can't remember. I just know I was listening to it on my way to work, and it made me laugh. But I also was like, I was gonna trash talk you for trash talking me. It was very entertaining.
Oh, that's right. That's the one you weren't here for.
Yeah.
Because you were with your real life girlfriend.
Yep. Not my Minecraft girlfriend.
So with that being said, next week is Spider-Man freaking... What is
Spider-Man Life Story.
That's the one.
That's the one we're reading.
So thank you for listening, and come back next week for some Spider-Man. So back to Deadshot being shot
Deathstroke.
Yeah, that's the one. Fake. I was gonna make that joke. I was gonna be like, so Spencer, what have you been watching? Loser.
Spencer, wish you were here to laugh at that. Are you sure it's not menopause?
I thought you were gonna say Straczynski, but
Francis Menopause. Okay, gonna cut that out.
Yep. From comicbook.com. Wait, I'm gonna find out if I can read this one. Yes. All right. This has nothing to do with the cult that shall be unnamed.
Oh my gosh.
Or
like,
you still have to slap Spencer's face on a painted French girl. From
oh my gosh, I
episode
forgot about a
long
pinup.
time ago. Yeah.
I forgot I gotta do that pinup. Spencer, you're gonna be a sexy lady.
Oh yeah.